It's dangerous, an old woman said, clutching a basket of herbs. Don't go near it after dark. Why? I asked, already feeling the pull of defiance. Things wait in the fog, she whispered. Things that remember you before you remember them. Her words made my stomach tighten. But I told myself it was nonsense, just superstition, the kind that spreads in towns isolated enough to forget what's rational. I set out toward the creek as the sun dipped behind the cliffs, spilling shadows that stretched unnaturally across the ground. The path was overgrown, the fog rolling in thick and cold, settling like a wet cloth over my shoulders. I could barely see my feet, and every step I took felt like an echo in a vast, empty space. At first, it was just the normal sounds of night, the rustle of leaves, the croak of a frog. Then I heard it, soft at first, almost imperceptible, like someone whispering my name. Evelyn! I froze. My heart pounded. There was no one around. Just the fog, and the faint murmur of water somewhere nearby. I told myself it was my mind playing tricks. I continued. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, winding around my thoughts like smoke. Evelyn, come closer! The creek came into view, a narrow ribbon of water that glimmered silver under the weak light of the rising moon. The fog hugged the surface, curling and twisting as if alive. And then I saw it, shapes moving just beneath the water. Not fish. Something darker, something that moved with a rhythm that felt intentional, watching. I backed up. The ground beneath my feet felt unstable, almost soft, like it could swallow me whole. The whispers became a chorus, a cacophony of voices calling my name, overlapping, echoing, mocking. I ran. I didn't notice the path turning until I was in the heart of the fog. Trees arched over me, their branches like the hands of giants reaching for my shoulders. My breaths came in short gasps. Then I stumbled into a clearing, and I stopped. At the center was a house. It wasn't on any map. It had no name, no sign, just walls of rotting wood and windows black as a void. Yet, it felt familiar, as though I had seen it in some forgotten dream. The whispers quieted, replaced by a heavy silence that pressed on my chest. I shouldn't have entered. I knew it, even as my feet carried me forward. The door opened with a slow creak. Inside, the air smelled of damp paper and old memories. The walls were lined with mirrors, each reflecting not me, but fragments of something else. A child running through a hallway I didn't remember, a woman crying softly in a room that didn't exist outside these walls. Time lost meaning. I wandered through room after room, each one more disorienting than the last. Stairs led to floors that shouldn't have existed. Doors opened to courtyards that glimmered with an impossible twilight. I could hear whispers, but now they weren't saying my name, they were speaking in a language I almost understood, a language that felt like it remembered me before I remembered myself. In the study, I found a journal. The pages were yellowed, but the ink was fresh. The entries spoke of the creek, of the fog, of the house that waited for those who listened. Do not follow the sound of your own name, one passage read. The house keeps what it calls. I tried to leave. Every door I opened led me deeper inside. The mirrors no longer reflected me but the house itself, stretching, breathing, alive. Shadows moved in patterns that made no sense. I began to feel hollow. I was losing myself. Hours, maybe days, passed. I cannot tell. In the main hall, a grand mirror reflected me, but with one difference: my eyes were not mine. They were hollow, black pools that seemed to look through the mirror into some other place. I raised my hand. The reflection raised its hand first. It smiled. The whispers had returned, louder now, urging me forward. Join us, stay, belong. I screamed, but no sound came. My voice was swallowed by the fog that now filled every corner of the house. My body moved without me. I followed the reflection into a room that shimmered with unnatural light. And then, the last thing I remember, I saw the creek again. Silver, still, endless. I woke on the edge of the forest outside Hollow Creek. The fog had lifted. The house was gone. My legs ached as if I had run for days. My heart pounded in my chest. The journal, the mirrors, the whispers, all gone. Only my camera remained in my bag, though when I checked it, the photos were blank. All except one. It was a picture of me standing in the doorway of the house. Behind me, a figure, tall, faceless, waiting. Its hand rested lightly on my shoulder. I do not know who I was in that photo, or who was standing behind me. The villagers say the creek is quiet now. But sometimes, when the fog rolls in and the wind bends through the trees, I hear it, my name, soft and insistent, calling me back to Hollow Creek. And I know, deep down, that if I ever return, the house will be waiting.